musical chairs seem to have begun as 4 Labour Party House of Representatives members and 1 PDP federal lawmaker defects to the All Progressives Congress. What are the affected political parties saying? The People's Democratic Party's Board of Trustees has expressed its displeasure over the inability of the party's National Working Committee to convene the National Executive Committee meeting scheduled for the 28th of last month. Also on Political Update today, the National Peace Committee makes key observations on the state of the nation's democracy. We have this and more on our lineup. I'm Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. The National Peace Committee says democracy has made significant progress with the conduct of consistent general elections for 25 years in the Fourth Republic. This was a part of submissions at a high-level discourse on religion and democracy with special focus on challenges to democracy in Nigeria.
The National Peace Committee has contributed to peaceful and credible elections, fostering political stability since its creation in 2014. As part of efforts to deepen the success story, the committee brought together these influential leaders from various sectors to mediate conflicts and promote dialogue on national issues.
To govern Nigeria, you don't need to be, I don't care whether you go to mosque or you go to church. Because the issues that we need to resolve, fixing potholes, doesn't require prayer. Giving us electricity, we cannot pass that responsibility on to God. He's given us the resources, he's given us the manpower. So our responsibility as religious leaders is to also continue to hold a certain candle to those who govern.
This discourse on religion and democracy in Nigeria with the theme, Challenges to Democracy in Nigeria, Religion as a Building Block for Democratic Growth in Nigeria, has specific objectives to better existence and quality of life.
A situation where election has not yet started and somebody is already blowing horn, is only the trumpet of crisis, and the person, nothing has happened to him. I'm against it.
It is essential that we engage these leaders in discussions about the importance of upholding democratic values such as tolerance, respect for human rights, and active participation in governance.
Participants agreed that they can potentially shape the attitude, opinion, and behaviors of millions of Nigerians, and as well address the interplay between religion and governance.
The Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party has expressed its displeasure over the National Working Committee's inability to convene a National Executive Committee meeting as previously scheduled for the 28th of November 2024, that's last month. Chairman of the board and former president of the Senate, Adolphus Wabara, during a BUT meeting at the National Secretariat of the party in Abuja, emphasized that the emergency meeting aimed at resolving internal party issues and planning for future electoral engagements.
It's an emergency meeting of the members of the PDP Board of Trustees to reaffirm commitment to democratic principles and internal cohesion. Chairman of the board, Senator Adolphus Wabara, on behalf of members, expressed disappointment at the continued shifting by the National Working Committee in convening a National Executive Committee meeting, highlighting the critical role of the NEC as platform for decision-making and unity within the party. The BOT called on the leaders of the North Central Zone to immediately convene a meeting of North Central stakeholders with a view to nominating a replacement for former National Chairman Senator Yocha Ayu.
We urge the NWC to rise to the occasion, demonstrating leadership and responsibility by making sure that the time fixed next year, February, to convene the NEC meeting is adhered to.
The BOT chairman criticized the delay in convening NEC meeting not only as a breach of trust, but also as a potential catalyst for discord within the PDP, re-emphasizing the importance of adhering to the party's constitution and the timeliness set for such meetings. In a move towards reconciliation, BOT announced the board's intention to revisit former Governor Nyesom Wike in the new year, aiming to mend fences and foster lasting peace within the party.
Now to the premise to our discussion. 5 opposition House of Representatives members from the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party have defected to the All Progressives Congress. The lawmakers, 4 from Labour Party and 1 from the PDP, are Eriakate Ibori Suenu from Delta State, Donatus Matthew from Kaduna State, Tochukwu Okere from Imo State, Akiba Bassey from Cross River State, and Esosa Iyawe from Edo State. In their letters of defection, read on Thursday's plenary by the Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, the lawmakers cited alleged crisis in their former political parties as reason for their decision to defect to the All Progressives Congress.
To resign from LP is as a result of the party's inability to declare who should emerge as the legitimate caretaker committee from the national to state levels.
I know the Speaker is somebody that respects the laws, and I am sure in a moment he will declare some seat vacants, because the Constitution clearly stated that if you are sponsored by a political party to a House of Representatives or Senate, and you decide to move to another party, the House shall declare your seat vacant.
At the end of the day, as the party of the people, by 2027, we will open our arms again to give them their rightful ticket.
We're now being joined by Chief Peter, Labour Party chieftain and National Secretary of the Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP. Welcome to the program. I can see that you're chomping at the bit to, get into the meat of the matter. You saw some of your members, 4 of them, federal lawmakers, defecting to another party, joined by also someone from the PDP. Your party, that is the Labour Party, says it will retrieve its mandate from these former members. A statement credited to the party's publicity secretary, Obiora Ifo, condemned the defection as unfortunate, irrational, and inconsistent with the norms of democracy. First, do you agree, and what's the mood in your camp?
The mood is, it is not for the camp per se, it's by the electorate, because promises were made to the electorate. When you come on board to take over, to take tickets, to run for office, there's certain information that are given, like campaign, that is done across board, across the party line, especially when it comes to the manifesto of the party, that it was going to be a people's-driven, political party. And if you look at the formation of political party, it has a life of its own. We say succession. So political party should not, is a critical vehicle in the electoral process. And any attempt to, to continue to act as feeding bottle, political party, to feed other political party, where you win election on the platform of one party and move to another, which the Constitution attempt to cure in Section 109, Section 1G, and you find out that it clearly states there that any person who is elected on the platform of one political party and moves to another, seats should be declared vacant. But the problem we have now, in Section 101, Section 2G, says that the seats will be declared vacant by the presiding officer, in the National Assembly. I don't think it's going to be easy for anybody to now try to deprive his party the benefit of, having more members. But the failure is the failure of character by those who have, deceived the electorate to get into office and say no, we are not. Because you campaign against these parties that when you got elected, and you sold out your own ideas that will make you different, and that's why the electorate within your federal constituency, your senatorial district, or the Federal Republic of Nigeria decided that you should be the right person that should occupy that seat. So any change of behavior, any crossover from that same platform to another party has shown that you have no loyalty to the electorate, you have no loyalty to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and you also have no loyalty to the Constitution, because if we don't keep our parties strong, and our parties are weak to a point that they cannot play the constitutional role that is entrenched in Section 223 to Section 229, then you find out that the political system will start to collapse gradually, because we need virile opposition, we need competent ruling government, to be able to marry these activities together to make our democracy function.
All right, let's interrogate this Fourth Republic a little bit and look at perhaps what could be the root cause of this. In the early 80s, 79 to 83, the Second Republic, we could see sharp differences in ideologies of the parties and what they presented to Nigerians. The PRPs of this world, UPN, NPN, and the rest. And it was almost, very sharp and almost confrontational differences between them in how the state should be run. It seems as if the lines have blurred in the Fourth Republic to the point that politicians find it very easy to jump from one platform to the other, since there are no sharp differences in terms of what these parties are presenting to Nigerians. That is on one side. From the experience we've had in Ondo State, that's where I come from. We had the governor at the time who was voted in on the platform of the Labour Party, which is your party, voted, overwhelmingly by the people. Towards the end of his tenure, he became someone who was more or less attending all meetings of the People's Democratic Party. We've had, some of these challenges in the past. It's not coming, newly. But in terms of, entrenching this, this differences between the parties and making it look almost like a taboo for you to jump fences. How do you achieve that, especially now that the lines are so well ironed and blurred?
I think the lines are not as blurred as it is. It's just that there's been a deepening of money politics in our democratic system that that has also affected how people reason on how they see political party participation. For me, like the creation and establishment of any political party, you have to go through certain guidelines and regulations, either by the INEC themselves, by the Constitution or the Electoral Act, and that has also given very distinctive definition to what political party should be. Because if you have a party, your party must have manifesto, and that manifesto is supposed to define whether you are centered to the left or you are to the right, and all those other democratic ideology that you want, that people are seeking to promote. But the issue at the moment is that the elections are so driven by money bags and driven by so much money, because the campaign finance law has really, not really been effective, because INEC himself is overburdened with too many activities. So for us to be able to get it right, we need to be able to review the Section 109, Section 1G, to make it automatically without any proviso that says that it should be declared vacant by the presiding officer. To make it automatic that as soon as anybody decamped, that seat is already vacant by the decision of that person to leave a party upon which it was elected. See, we cannot make political parties a feeder pillars, that the political parties will canvass, you will talk to electorate on the manifesto of your party, and as soon as within 6 months or 1 year, these persons will move to another party, thereby weakening the party upon which they were elected. It has happened to AMPP, it's happening to Abuja, it happened to PP, it happened to a lot of parties that could not survive. Even AMPP suffered this so much that at the time, and this defection that is happening in our political cross-carpeting, it can be called cross-carpeting, has also weakened the ability of the party to discipline hiring elected officers. Because as soon as you write a letter to them and tell them that, oh, you are not following the rules and regulations, and the principle of our party, they tell you that they are leaving the party. All parties have the ideology. For Labour Party, Labour Party was first established as Party for Social Democrats before it was changed to Labour. So, and the name Labour itself will tell you that it is a social contract, the party system that was developed to be able to run for the masses. But as we speak, it is about the character of the people and the content of the politicians.
All right, for the party not to labor in vain over these representatives that seem to have jumped ship, let's look at some of the issues that we've discussed, apart from the issue of ideologies and party being able to discipline their candidates or people that they are fielded in political offices. Let's look at it this way as well. Is it as if the parties themselves, in terms of recruitment, may have, missed a trick in terms of even the recruitment processes? When people join your parties newly, you don't vet, you don't indoctrinate properly and do your vetting before you eventually produce them. And then how quickly is it that you find it so easy for someone to jump ship from another party, within months becomes the flag bearer of your political party? We could also, interrogate that as well, because it seems to me as if looking at the statement of the National Publicity Secretary, it's looked a little bit affronted and surprised by the defection of these members.
Nobody should be surprised, because as much as we want to blame, the character of those who have defected, as much as we also want to blame the level, the current political climate that we are practicing that is so much deep in money politics, and people want to,
But people also want to look, sorry to interrupt you, people also look for different opportunities as well. If, for instance, the parties that they belong to at a certain time, perhaps they look at it as if opportunities are not coming there and their ambitions are not being realized, they jump ship into another party, then it now behoves on that party to field them in elections.
You see, Section 39 clearly says that you can join a political party and association where your right and interest is protected. I agree with that with you. But the fact is that it is not just being a member. When you are elected on that platform, you are elected to, to promote the ideals and manifestos as enshrined in the Constitution and the manifesto of the party. Like I was saying, yeah, we could talk about the character of the people not being loyal to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Ghana, not being loyal to any of the laws that exist, and their intention to want to align with the center is as a result of our already bastardized democratic process, where people think that the center has extra power to be able to usher them into authority. And if you want to look at it very well, also the management of the political party, some people sit down and they tell you, party is supreme, party is supreme. Party is not supreme. What is supreme is the constitution of the party. And the constitution of this party is supreme to all extent and purpose, where those elected respect the constitution of the party, those who are running the party as administrator also respect the constitution of the party, and the level of the ability of the leadership of the party to also make fences when there's crisis. And if you tell me that because of little crisis in a family, people will start to defect from their party, then you tell me that these people have no character. The truth is that when there are crises, there's no association in this world, whether it is village meeting, whether it is community meeting, whether it's school meeting, there must be crisis. That is why as leaders who have been elected, we must try to sit down and then have conference, converge in a place to resolve the crisis that has occurred, but not to run and then jump ship to leave that in. It shows that at the first instance, there was no commitment. You were looking for a process to get in the office and then protect yourself. It is not about the constituency which you represent, neither is it about the senatorial district which you represent, because it is about them. They knew the logo you presented. They knew the name of the party you present, and they voted in spite, with all the challenges that were there. And we run a multi-party democratic system. That means there were more than one party on the ballot on the day you were contesting, and you won. So if you are now in office, when you have never been, majority of them have never been elected in their life. So if they are now in office, what is it so difficult for them to now start to be afraid that they cannot come next time? It is because also non-performance. If you look at the record of those who have defected, you find that they have not processed one bill, they have not moved one motion, they have not written any laws that will help in the development and the progress of the constituency which they represent. Apart from trying to, take community support from the federal government, constituency project like Keke Napep and all that, and share. No other innovative, creative, and intelligent sense of lawmaking process has been established by these people. So you can't just be blaming the system all the time. You should also blame the characters that are also responsible for this decay in our democratic system.
You talk with so much passion. I'm almost saying, please, sir, don't be annoyed. But let's leave that by the wayside. People who are interested in football will say that the politicians did not wait for the January transfer window before jumping ship. But we'll come back to the closing stake in this program. But let's quickly take two stories. Stakeholders on the platform of the Governing All Progressives Congress have appealed to Nigerians to actively participate in the act of governance, particularly at the sub-national and grassroots levels of the country. This was during a media briefing on major developments that cut across energy, infrastructure, social investment, and tax, where the current administration was given a pass mark for taking tough decisions that will eventually put the economy on the move for progress.
Projects to the state governments, it is the responsibility of Nigerians to follow it up from there, to understand that this is no longer a problem of a federal government. Problem of Nigerians is that they don't ask questions on what happened to what is being given to them.
Some stakeholders appreciate the local government autonomy, which will attract more democratic dividends, and appealed for the recognition of confederation of the all APC support groups led by the Director General Professor Mohammed Keliani, talking about that group there making its advocacy. But let's go quickly on the international stage before we come to the closing lines with our guests. More than 140 ECOWAS election observers have been dispatched to voting centers in 16 regions of Ghana ahead of Saturday's presidential election. At the orientation for them in Accra, they were charged to adhere strictly to their mandate, which is to help strengthen the electoral process in Ghana.
In line with ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance relating to providing assistance to member states holding elections, the exercise in Ghana is coming at the time the country is seeking to remain a beacon of democracy in the sub-region. This fact is the reason the regional bloc is asking these observers, carefully selected, to stick to their jobs of observing and recording incidences and not interfere with the process in their areas of deployment, because a successful election in Ghana will further consolidate on the growth of democracy in West Africa, where many countries have had successful elections in recent times.
They will go to all the regions of Ghana and they will observe the election and they will report exactly what happened. And after the election, we are going to have a statement on the position of what really takes place. So we wish the Ghanaians a very peaceful election, successful election for all the contestants.
The observers were also taken through the history of political development and elections in Ghana, as well as peculiarities of the respective regions, to help them know what to expect.
All right, we are closing the program, but before we go, we want to take the last line from our guest, if I may. You have been watching this process so closely since yesterday. Your party stance is that those members should vacate their seat, but is this likely?
That is the last line. I didn't get it.
Is it likely that your party will get its prayers that those members on your platform that now defected, would their seats will be declared vacant?
No, it's totally unlikely. But the only way they can do that is to also, take the matter before court, because Labour Party have done that in Ondo when the State House of Assembly member declamped at the time, and we won. So they should be able to take it back to court and then put the information and the law, put it before the court and let the court educate on the issue. Because the fact is that we can't grow our democracy like this. People who are rushing today, if there's anything one should learn, that I have learned in this politics, is the fact that loyalty to a community you belong is very important, especially when they have given you something, is what I've learned from the president. Look at 2007, when the Yar'Adua came into power. Every party did what they call government of national unity. I was in PA, and we gave Chuka as one of our candidates, who later became Minister of FCT. The NCN did not participate in that,
Yes,
and their party survived.
Time is not our friend on the program, but many thanks to our guests for coming, and of course for you for watching. We'll be back again on Tuesday for another program, and perhaps we'll still be interrogating this from another perspective. Many thanks for you for watching, and between now and Tuesday when we return, please play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye.